Appendix video take 2. This isn't a supplemental video with any sort of deep explanations, and it's certainly not a story video. I just thought anybody who's interested in more information and sort of some orientation about my videos, I mention a lot of information, and my significant other slash wife actually made up this map for me, and it was so wonderful I wanted to include it in the videos, so I did. But it's also helpful in terms of whenever I mention something, people might get frustrated because they can't orient what I'm talking about. So here's the video. This is the whole continent of Killane. As you can see, there's definite border markings as to the guidance region itself, which again is sort of like a province or state, which I've mentioned many, many times. Here's just a little bit of Thodor, which is a nation that I did mention as visiting the community in the video. They have good relations now. Maybe not in the past, but now they're good friends. But I'm going to just scroll in a little bit. There we go. And talk about what landing settlement means. It just means this is actually where the people who discovered the area, the original colonists, landed. They didn't settle there. It's just too harsh conditions. But so they moved further on down the coast, but it's still called the landing settlement. And it's like it's like a territory, like the Northwest Territories, as much like the Quest region is like that as well. There's some settlement there, but it's very sparse and very cold and very harsh, much like our own North Pole. Up here is a wildlife reserve called the Shaman Islands. They are rare species there. Humans are not allowed to go there. It is protected both by federal Coast Guard patrols and regional police patrol. Anybody sort of found on the islands is fined and or arrested. Depending on the activities, could even mean jail time. So you're allowed to sort of travel by in a boat if you like and take some pictures of the place, but other than that, it's a no-go area. But it is mentioned in a couple of my videos, you know, this plane is the patrol plane for this, and it goes there and it does these things. And I was basically talking about these islands up here. And I mentioned when I did the videos that those units came from a place called Dupuy. Now Dupuy is right there, and as it says here, it's Section 6, which is the road patrol or police station unit there, the regional police station. This is also an air base for federal and provincial aircraft, and it also has a small little marine unit, a couple of small patrols that sort of come out into Section 10. They occasionally branch off into Section 2. As for the sections, they're just the regional sections. That means this is Section 2 for ambulances, schools, police departments, whatever the region is responsible for, what the regional government's responsible for. It breaks it down into little blocks of government areas that are given to different people in different departments and things like that. And these sections obviously are just an administrative thing. But in the end, when I say sort of Section 2 patrol, well, that's the local police department in Neel's Harbour. So, or Section 1 patrol, that's the police that patrol Rogan's Island. Section 3, Bista Island. Section 8, that's the regional department that's near the city of November, and so forth. And they all had different departments and things that they might have specialized in. The marine units aren't actually Section 5 is. Section 5 is the marine unit. Section 6 is the car unit. But there's even another marine unit down here in Charles Harbour, which I didn't mention, section 7. But you get the idea. So I'm going to scroll in one more time. There we go. And you can kind of get a feeling for what I was talking about. With the highway that goes right through Neel's Harbour, it eventually extends up into a tourist area called Marmara Beach, very popular. If you go south, there's a little community that often helps out in big emergency called Marksville. Not too often, but it's close enough. And it is actually sort of about a third away up from Bingham, which again, if there's real terrible issues happening in Suffsen Island or Neel's Harbour, they get support from the emergency services, or sometimes they just take a patient down to the hospital down there. But that, and again, Charles Harbour in the bottom here. Just to give you an idea of what, sort of the things that I was talking about in my videos, I'm going to try to scroll down. This is a little trickier. I'll try to get down here if I can. There we go. Yay. I often mentioned that it was a long way from the Vista Airport, which is in Substance City, not Substance Island. And of course, you see Vista Islands right there. I'm going to need to click off. There we go. So you would land at the airport and you take a long train ride, which is a train coming out of the station. The train ride will eventually end up in Neel's Harbour where it ended, but it also stops at Charles Harbour, also stops at Bingham. Or you can take the road up. Most of these roads have big long bridges attached to them. There's no ferry service up here. The only ferry service is from Marisport, and it goes straight into November. It gets you from November to Vista Island. November, of course, being that big city that I mentioned that often had units that would visit Neel's Harbour. Section 8, obviously, it's just, there's Section 7, the Marine unit. All those guys there would be in November. Kibbe is the military base there. It's the naval base made up of, I think it's 12 patrol craft and 3 support ships in terms of moving men and supplies and equipment. And finally, a video I never really got to, way down here is a place called Jory National Reserve and Park. I was going to do a video about all the rangers and forest rangers, forest park. That's literally what it is. It's a national park where you come to camp. I never get around to that video. Didn't have the resources, didn't have the space, didn't have the time. It's just impossible. But I had designed, I had not designed, my wife had designed the map ahead of time. I just sort of typed into it. But yeah, that's what I was going to do down there. And there was just like a little police detachment. It was all going to be a fun little video. But again, time, money, space, never sort of came to be. And I left this just in here, maybe so that I could have, an extra section or something. But down here, I never discussed that there's a special section unit down here that just deals in border security. They're basically super customs agents. And I think I mentioned it somewhere in one of my videos. I'm not quite positive on that. But there's just a little bit of the nation of Thodor that borders the sort of the southern region part of the country. And yeah, it was just helpful for me that when I was talking there was some consistency in what I was saying and helped me orient the tons of information because my memory is not that strong. But what I will do is I will kind of come out a bit. I think that's a good spot to stop, and I'm going to scroll down. And so what I will do is slowly scroll back up and give you a better look here. I'll just slowly scroll forward. I have to be very careful. I'm driving somebody else's computer, so I'm more clumsy than even I normally am. And now, or if somebody actually wanted to look at something, and I did include lots of family names, lots of friends' names, lots of personal experiences in this just for fun, and I'll let people sort of discover themselves on the main map and parts of my past that are important to me. Well, that's the end of my videos. That's the last, well, obviously the end of my appendix videos because that's the only one there is. And it's been a lot of fun and I enjoyed it. And it's time to go away and enjoy other things that I'm much, much better at, as opposed to video making and or building large Lego cities that require a lot of maintenance. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you in every other video.